Welcome back. This is Mr. Tipton, and today we are looking at some other exponent stuff. There's just a few kind of odds and ends exponent things we want to cover so that we can understand how to work these exponents a little better, and so we're just going to go through a few of those right now. We're going to start with exponents with negative bases. Okay, first I'm looking right here. I want to talk about the difference between a negative 3 squared and negative 3 squared. Okay, the order of operations tells us that we have to do exponents before any multiplying or dividing or adding and subtracting. So what this top one actually means is we have negative 3 times 3. Oops, 3 times 3 is 9. That's what I meant. 3 times 3, which is 9, and so this would be a negative 9. But what this bottom one means, negative 3 squared, this is actually the same thing as negative 3 times negative 3. Negative times negative is positive. Alright, so the first thing I want to be sure we understand is that these two guys right here, these are different. Negative 3 squared is different than negative 3 squared. Okay, the exponent happens before that negative is put on there. Alright, so negative 3 squared, negative 3 times negative 3, is a positive 9. Now let's look at negative 3 to the third power. Okay, this still means that we have 3 negative 3's that are being multiplied. Okay, 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Negative times negative is positive. Then positive times negative actually makes this being, has this end up with a negative 27. Because there are 3 negative signs, we end up with a negative product. Okay, negative 3 to the fourth power, negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. Oh, how much, oops. There we go, negative 3. So what is that? That's 27 times 3 is 81. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now, negative times negative is positive. Times negative is negative. Times negative is positive. So a negative base to the fourth power will end up being positive. Maybe you're starting to see a pattern. Okay, negative 3 to the fifth power means we've got 5 negative 3's being multiplied. 81 times 3 is 243. Okay, negative times negative is positive. Times negative is negative. Times negative is positive. Times negative is back to negative. Okay, so we could keep going, and hopefully by now you can kind of see the pattern. Let's see if I can switch colors here. Even exponents gave us what? Gave us positive products. Let's write this down. Even, run out of ink. Even exponents gave us positive products. And then obviously the let's switch colors here again. The odd exponents, the 3 and the 5, gave us negative products. I won't write it all. I'll just write what we need here. Odd exponents have negative. Yeah. Oops. Have negative products. Okay, so 2 things here with negative bases. Up here at the top, just remember a negative 3 squared is different than a negative 3 squared. And an even an even exponent will give you a positive product, an odd exponent will give you a negative product. Alright, moving on. I want to talk about, I'm going to try and move on. Here we go. Exponents with decimal bases. Hey, this works the same as any other exponents that we've been doing. I just wanted to have an example or two for you. Negative 4 squared means, I'm sorry, 0.4 squared means 0.4 times 0.4. And that is 0.16. Okay, so that means the same thing, just 0.4 times 0.4. Not 0.4 times 2, the answer is not 0.8. Down here, 1.2 to the third power, or 1.2 cubed. 1.2 times 1.2 times 1.2. And you know, one reason I hate using the dot for the multiply sign is when I'm working with decimals. I don't know, I just kind of like parentheses. Means the same thing though. And oh goodness, how much is that? Let's see, grab my calculator. And we've got 1.2 times 1.2 times 1.2 gives us 1.728. 1.728. But the decimal bases, they work the same as whole number bases. Okay, decimal bases, and then we have fractional bases. And these aren't tough either. 1/2 squared. Okay, if you're squaring the entire fraction, it actually means the same thing as squaring both the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so 1/2 squared is the same thing as 1 squared over 2 squared. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4. That's all there is to it. Okay, 2/3 to the 4th power is the same thing as 2 to the 4th power over 3 to the 4th power. 2 to the 4th power is 16. 3 to the 4th power is 81. Okay, so decimal and fractional bases, not too big a deal either. If you have questions, be ready to ask, and we'll see you soon.